recalled that he was the superhero the media had christened Iron Man. It hadn't occurred to him that he would become the hottest tabloid story since ever.
Mr. Stark?
Tony looked up to see a giant SLR lens pointing at his face.
You must be Joe.
Now a half-dozen other cameras were on tripods and pointed at Tony's face, along with 3 microphones.
Mr. Stark, whatever were you doing lying on the sidewalk? Don't you know that Dubai gets hot this time of year?
Of course. As a matter of fact, Stark Enterprises is working on a new piece of equipment that cools sidewalks. I was just doing a bit of research. For your information, heat is the #1 cause of sidewalk buckling. When sidewalks buckle, they become uneven. Someone could fall, a dachshund could trip, you know, with those short little legs. Look, like right there.
Tony pointed to the slab of concrete he'd been lying on. No one else even glanced at it.
Mr. Stark, how do you expect Stark Enterprises to make money now that you've abandoned your lucrative weapons contracts with the military? Do you intend to have Iron Man perform in the circus?
Joe, are you suggesting I'm wrong to work for world peace?
I'm suggesting you've overlooked your responsibilities to your board, stockholders, and employees.
Tony couldn't win this argument. He wasn't about to suddenly declare a renewed interest in building weapons. Tony backed slowly up against the fountain as the crowd pressed in. This time, instead of dropping to the sidewalk, he leapt into the fountain, getting good and drenched as he ducked across it and out the other side. He ran to the parking structure, glad for the small delay as his pursuers gathered their tripods and gear. He hurried up a set of stairs to the 2nd level. He had just enough of a head start that he was able to throw himself off the side of the structure without the reporters seeing him. He landed on the sand below. He ducked and fled to the other side of the convention center. He tried the doors.
Great.
But they only opened from inside. This wasn't the main entrance. He spotted a pair of wooden railings next door, lining a walkway that led to a tall concrete barrier. Tony realized he'd stumbled onto an outdoor arena.
That could work.
Let the reporters look for him at the convention center's exit or in the parking structure. Tony loved attention, sure. But when he told the world he was Iron Man and that Stark Enterprises was changing its focus, he'd only been prepared for the fawning, not for the incessant questions about his past work and doubts about his present sincerity. He certainly didn't expect the fictional headlines the tabloids had generated, or the salacious and utterly false rumors about his friends and colleagues. He entered the arena, sat down on the grandstand around the dusty center track, and pulled out his phone.
Call Pepper.
The screen flickered and darkened.
Out of power. Again.
He'd have to check the phone team's progress when he got back to the States.
The world really needs a Stark phone. Hell, I need a Stark phone. Ugh.
Something wet and mushy brushed up against Tony's ear. He looked up to see a spindly-legged camel gazing at him through long lashes.
Yuck. Wet camel nose. Huh.
And what was that on the camel's back? A type of saddle, but the rider wasn't human.
Oh, yeah.
There'd been a mention of this in the Expo program. The latest in robot camel jockeys were on display. Tony had been speaking on a panel and had missed the demonstration. Sensors placed on the camel's chest, knees, and mouth sent data to the robots and to the camel's trainer. The robots would then artificially evolve, assessing future moves based on each measurement, every experience, and factors such as wind and sand. To the indiscriminating observer, the robot jockeys appeared capable of learning, instead of being piloted remotely by trainers as they had been in the past. Tony saw a plastic Robbie the Robot bobblehead on top of the robot.
Someone's been playing with a 3D printer.
The rest of the robot was just a steel box covered in what looked like a giant tube sock.
Easy, easy. Now hold still, girl.
He reached up to the saddle. He wanted that robot. Not just out of curiosity, he was dying to get a look at the internal specs, but also because Tony knew that where there was a robot, there was a power source. Tony loosened the straps that held the robot in place and slid it out of its sock. He unclasped 2 metal hooks that held an access panel and then opened up the robot to get to the battery.
May I be of some assistance, Mr. Iron Man?
A middle-aged man in a white shalwar kameez, vest, and sandals stood in front of Tony.
Oh, hello. I'd just like to borrow your camel pilot for a minute.
Tony flashed a smile.
Do as you must, Mr. Iron Man. I can put my robot back together.
Thanks, Mr...
Call me Ahmed.
Thanks, Ahmed. Please call me Tony. You're Afghani, yes?
You are correct, Tony.
I've spent some time in your country. I take it you're here in Dubai for the Technology Expo? You like robots or camel racing or both?
Electronics. I have always enjoyed circuits and robots, but what I'm...